What's up everybody, Arrg the Pirate here, and today I'm going to be playing a little Twinblast in the Safelane. As always, let's go over the deck. Now I have Auto Health Potion, Fast Travel, Multi-Shot, Duelist, and Critical Hits, followed by Quick Exit for my gems. Now for my cards, I have Cull the Weak, Demolitionist, Living Guardian, Outlander Scout, which is really just to make sure no one's sneaking up on you in Viz. That's really kind of situational. Sand Speeder, Guard Piercer, Hellfire Engine, which is kind of that last card, Swamp Stalker, Heavy Hitter, Unstoppable Cyborg, Shatter Golem, and lastly, Vampiric Blade. Now, I got this deck set up to where I can go full damage, or I can have some of that sustain. Full damage build is Heavy Hitter, Shatter Golem, and Hellfire Engine. But if you are struggling at staying alive, you have facing off against a very aggressive team, you might go Vampiric Blade, Heavy Hitter, Unstoppable Cyborg, or Vampiric Blade, Shatter Golem, and Unstoppable Cyborg. Either way, this deck is good. So if you're getting a lot of damage, or if you want to output just a ton of damage, go for that Hellfire. But if you're struggling on staying alive, like I said, go for that Vampiric Blade. So I really like having this high damage build, but I don't have any sustain. I don't have a lifesteal gem or any sort of lifesteal. So you definitely need to get your power on before you go for that Hellfire rounds or Hellfire Engine. It's a great card, but if you die, you lose it. So I would highly recommend getting your Hellfire or getting your Shatter Golem and your Heavy Hitter, maybe throwing on, you know, another card just in case, but then save up gold. Save up 7,000 gold. Put that card on, and then I like to save up 7,000 more gold, and then anything over 7,000 I put into the ability points. So that really kind of ensures that I will have another Hellfire round whenever I spawn back in. Just, you need to play a little more cautious when you do get that Hellfire online, and make sure that your team's kind of aware of what you're doing. Now, we are going against a Wukong, and if you saw, we got a very early pick on him. Our Richter, or, you know, my Richter, I guess, is doing a great job kind of zoning him out. We're actually in comms, so we're able to communicate a little bit and say, hey, you know, pull him, or let's go in on him, everything like that. And we're actually in comms with our mid laner Gadget as well. So we've got a little group here, and we end up turning this game around and actually just dominating. We have a great rotation game, and this is just a really, really fun match. Now, this is one of the first times I've seen Wukong in a while, and we actually have him on both teams. He's our offlaner, and he's their offlaner. And, you know, Wukong is still a great lane pusher, but since they have kind of changed him and gave him a little bit of a nerf, he's not near as threatening, but you still need to shut him down. If you allow him to run away, he's very hard to deal with. And knowing that, you also need to maintain your lane. Don't rotate for too long because he will push against you. So make sure that you're rotating and everything like that. Now, this is a pretty boring start. We haven't had a whole lot happen. Sevarog showed up and tried to gank us, but I was able to get out. It's pretty much your standard mid-game or early game. And here at about 9 or 8, little over 8 minutes, we actually down this tower. So we got a, you know, that's probably about an average tower. I would have liked to have been able to get it a little earlier, but we did have a lot of rotation from Sevarog, so it was a little bit more difficult to get that tower down. Now, Sevarog did end up coming in behind us, and you see here, he's about to take out Richter, and we actually get that kill. I don't know how Richter survived. He probably had 3 health left, and we're actually able to take him down, like I said, and I'm just going to continue to farm. Now, I am a lot more fed than their Wukong, and with that range advantage, I'm able to just poke him like crazy. And I'm not exactly sure why he was just standing there letting me hit him, but, you know, hey, no big deal. Now, their phase did actually rotate over and take out our Richter, which he didn't tell me that the phase was there. So I luckily was able to escape. I almost went down here. And, you know, I just really want to keep everything off of this tower. I'm not too terribly worried about phase because, you know, her lance really does no damage. And if Wukong does come into this tower, we're going to take him out. Now, Richter does end up showing back up. And really, the only reason I was staying in here is because I don't want this tower to go down that easily. We're able to take him out. Richter gets a great pull on him, and we just absolutely shred him to pieces. Now, I'm going to get out at this point. FaZe is not a threat. She's not going to be able to push that lane faster than Richter will be able to defend. So I'm going to take this time to get out, and hopefully we can actually get some more cards online and start really cranking out some damage. Now, a few minutes later, we're going to just really push this lane hard. If you see in our off lane, they have 3 teammates or members. Their support, their jungler, and their ADC. And they're really putting pressure in that off lane. So I'm going to do the same, except, you know, I don't have that massive team rotation. My team's going to go head over there and take care of that. But if you can see, Wukong is very low. So if we get a chance, we might even be able to get a pick. But I'm not worried about a rotation because we do have vision on pretty much their whole team. And, you know, they might get somebody to back or something like that. But that's something that, you know, hey, no big deal. Now, Wukong does do a great job of getting on that other side of that tower and avoiding my ultimate, which at that point, our gadget said, hey, Iggy just disappeared, he's heading towards you, so I'm just going to back out. There's no reason for me to be pushed up that far, and I might have been able to get that Wukong if I kept trying, but I don't want to die for an offlaner kill. Now, I did manage to put on my sand speeder after I backed, and I'm going to head to my off lane and finally, for the first time, show some presence in here. Hopefully, this will, you know, discourage them from playing so aggressively, and we are able to really put some damage on them. If you see, I'm clearly fed way more than their carry at this point, and I'm able to get both of these heroes very, very low. But at the same time, I have to be aware that Wukong is pushing. Now, I did tell Richter, hey, why don't you head over there, try to keep him off of that. I'm going to stay here down this tower, and then I'm actually going to head over from there. Now, you see Severog was coming in behind us, and I'm just going to get out. I'm not going to challenge that. They've got 3 heroes in that lane. Me and a Wukong, we might be able to actually get a kill, but it's not worth the risk. I ping him retreat, get out, and head over to that safe lane. Hopefully we can save this tower. You know, I honestly don't care if it goes down. We've got both their towers. It would be okay if this tower fell. That way I can actually start getting some farm. But, you know, I don't want to give it to them free. If you see, we have a pretty good rotation here. Me, Seraph, and Richter are able to actually end up taking this Wukong out. And you can really see that nerf that he received. It really slowed him down. He's not able to just jet across the map. So Wukong definitely has to play a lot more cautiously. And he really should get out when enemies show up. And, you know, just play very standoffish. But, hey, luckily for us, he stayed in and we were able to get that kill. Now, a few minutes later, we tried to get a gank on a couple of their heroes. But, you know, their Wukong in their phase, they were able to dip out, and, you know, I don't really want to push that lane anymore, so I'm going to rotate to mid. If we can get that mid tower down, that will really free us up to start, you know, taking Raptors and, you know, really just kind of open everything up. Now, I am playing with a couple of, you know, my subs, and we are still working on our team communication, things like that. Still working on strategies. You know, we should be taking Raptors a little bit more, but until we kind of get to a better place to where we can actually communicate. We have a battle plan, strategy type thing. I don't really feel safe taking raptors when, you know, we're still lacking callouts and things like that. So we haven't been prioritizing raptors at this point. Now, we do get them a couple of times in this match, but I would definitely like to secure raptors almost as soon as they pop up. Now, after getting that safe lane, pushing again, I'm going to head over to mid lane. I'll kind of hang out, wait for Richter to show up, and hopefully we can get a kill or make a play happen here in mid lane. And, you know, Iggy has been throwing his turrets a little further up, which is great because, you know, that really allows us to come in behind. And you can see we absolutely delete him. And with that Richter pull and ultimate, you know, he can get stunned, and that's really how you deal with his ult. Just don't let him do it. So we were actually pretty successful in taking him out, and we're going to really do a ton of damage on this mid lane tower. And, you know, this is great. We're able to rotate as the ADC. We're still keeping our lane pushed, and you can see I've spent a little bit of time here in mid lane. I've made my presence known, but it's time for me to head back to my lane and really clean up my lane. I don't want to give this tower away for free, like I said. Now, I do end up cleaning that lane up, and I'm able to go back to base. I put on my Swamp Stalker. Now, I took Pressure Hunter out of this build, and Pressure Hunter is a great card if you're going against heroes that, you know, put on Vitality. But when you're facing someone like Wukong, Pressure Hunter is not the best card because he's typically not going to stack Vitality. And if you are planning on upgrading your Vampiric Blade, that's a handful of points in Vitality, so your Pressure Hunter really won't be doing its job near as much. And the way I see it is, if I'm ever alone, I'm doing more damage, but if I'm with my support, I don't have to worry about doing too much damage, and the range is not all that far, so I can stay far enough away from him to actually get that passive to work. And you can see here, I'm able to go in on this Wukong, and I'm just absolutely destroying. So we're slowly getting fed to the point where we're going to have a huge impact in this game, but we're still not quite there yet. Now, I did put my final point in, and now is the farm game. I need to save up my 7,000 points to actually get that Hellfire engine to where I can just absolutely start dominating heroes. Now, Wukong did come in to challenge, and me and Richter made just terribly short work of him. We're able to take that phase down, which, you know, to be honest, I'm a huge phase fan. You know, I was able to get her to master rank before Wukong even released, or just after he released. So I played a ton of phase, and I really like phase, but she just is not the best hero anymore. And, you know, that's unfortunate, but it happens. Now, I did end up taking down that tier 2, but I'm going to die for it. We had a massive rotation, and you can see I tried to run the other way, thinking, you know, hey, we're screwed no matter what. I'm going to try to get out. And unfortunately, I just wasn't able to get out. So this is going to allow me to back. I still don't have enough to put that Hellfire engine on, but that's okay. We took down a tier 2. Unfortunately, an ADC and a support for a tier 2 is probably not worth it, but no big deal. We took it down. That was what I wanted to do. This is going to allow me to rotate even more. Now, while I was dead, we ended up losing our tier 1, which, like I said earlier, that's okay. And if you see here, you know, one reason I'm not slow farming lanes at all is because of Wukong. Wukong can just absolutely clear waves just insanely fast. And so I don't want to send him massive waves of minions just to get him farm. I want to actually keep him from getting farm. And I'm doing this by not allowing my waves to stack. Because, yeah, he can take those waves out so fast. Now, doing this means I need to constantly rotate to my lane, but that's okay. I don't want to let him get farmed, because once he does get farmed, he's just going to be absolutely terrible to deal with. Now, I was able to take out that phase. She kind of juked me a little there, but I ended up getting the better of her. I take down that tier 2 in the mid, and we're actually able to get a significant damage on this Sevarog, but I don't want to risk it. I want to get out. I know Iggy's ult's on cooldown. If you saw, he did use it, but I don't want to deal with anything that might be, a bad situation. I need to head back to my lane anyway, so I'm going to head over there. I was hoping Wukong would try to escape this way, but he just turned around and ran. So no big deal. We're able to clean these waves up and continue farming. Now, I have been playing the farming game a little bit this game, going from lane to lane, just cleaning up waves, rotating, just constantly getting farm. And if you see, I do have my Hellfire back on. I do have 7,000 more points, so I am able, I kind of have a free death in a way. So, that's great. And I'm just going to hard push this lane. Now, we do have a presence in our off lane. We do have a little bit of presence in our mid lane. So me and Richter are just going to hard push this lane. And they've been kind of just getting into a kind of a poking match at Prime. Now, I am not worried about them taking Prime. I think that if they take Prime, that's, that's going to hurt. But with our lanes pushed the way we are, we might be able to have an impact even though they have Prime. And if you see there, I actually kind of headed over that way, and I said, you know what, let's just push this lane. Me and Richter are here. We're actually able to just march down this lane. Murdoch does rotate over, but I say, hey Richter, if you can't go in there, get a pull on him, let's take him down. I let Richter get tower aggro, and we're absolutely able to destroy him. Now I take down my inhib, or I take down the Safelane inhib, and I tell them, hey, we got to get out. Like, I don't want to deal with this. We might be able to push the core. We do have 4 of them down currently, but their Sevarog's about to spawn in, and I don't want to risk being there. Right now is the perfect time to go for Prime or secure any other objective. I did just get Raptors, so, they're kind of out of the question, but now would be a good time to go for Prime. So I'm going to go ahead, get this safe lane, or get this mid lane pushing. Gadget's gonna show up, and I say, hey, let's all go for Prime right now. And sure enough, we end up making a Prime play here at a little past 30 minutes. Now, I have been having games last about 25 to 30 minutes, but we do have 3 ADCs in this team. Our offlaner and our jungler are both, ADCs, so they're very late game heroes. So it took a while for us to all get fed, and, that's really just going to make games last longer when you have 3 ADCs. I can see having 2, and, having 3 as long as everybody's playing well is a completely viable option. But, I like having a little bit stronger team comp than that, but hey, no big deal. We're still just doing an absolute great job. And if you see here, there Wukong jumps in, we just make absolute short work of him. And, I'm fed to the point where I'm just tearing up towers. You can see I make very short work of that. I do have 14,000 points, so I've got 7,000 points that I can spin freely, but, there's really no need. Now, I do try to down this tower, but it does have the shield on, so I'm not able to do much damage. I thought maybe Wukong had pushed a lane in there and got that shield off, but he didn't. So I wasn't able to take it out, but I wasn't too worried about taking that tower damage. With Prime up, hey, no big deal. Now we end up kind of downing the core, and this is really the end game. Well, I gotta say, I really enjoy having this high damage build, although I have almost 0 sustain. I like having this very solid high damage build over having that sustain build. I've always been kind of torn between the Vampiric Blade and the Sacred Alchemy. I think I prefer Vampiric Blade more just because I get Call of the Week, and, I'm terrible at getting last hits. But thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, show me some love. Leave me a comment, think about subscribing, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.